Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel on burnout and how to overcome it using the 3 M's of burnout. Well, recently I've done a lot of videos about how to overcome your burnout on a personal level and how this can help you as an individual. Today I'm going to do something slightly different. All of us, whether we like it to think about that or not, are responsible for certain people. This could be just people in our family, people we support, our friends and their mental well-being. Or we could have a position where we are in charge as a supervisor, as a senior person, perhaps a leader or manager of many others. And their burnout, making sure they don't get burnout, their well-being is very, very important to us because it will certainly affect our lives, and it's also good to help the people around you so that everyone is in that strong network of people that will help each other, will know what to do, and certainly will be looking out for each other. As you've noted in past videos, sometimes we don't even know we're burning out. We think it's something else. We think it's just a bad day, a bad period, and we don't really realize that we're falling down the slippery slope. And that's exactly how it happens. So today, I'm going to use the 3 M's of Burnout, which is my book. You can go to Amazon.com, it's sold all over the world, and look for the 3 M's of Burnout. So I advise you to read that book as well as watching these videos. Anyway, so let's talk about these 3 M's. Well, the first one is misconception. We can make a mistake about who we are, what's actually happening. We may have the wrong idea about what stress, burnout, depression, mental health, well-being actually is. The other thing that happens is, which is the second of the 3 M's of burnout, is maladaptation. We could be responding to it badly. Our physical reaction could be misleading, and our mental reaction, the reasons we give ourselves, the way we respond could be wrong. And lastly, the third of the 3 M's is mishandling. We then, once we realize we can get bombarded with different ideas, we could be using them wrongly, we could be using them at the wrong time, we could think that, hey, I've got my little key set of things, it will last forever, and it doesn't. So this is now looking at these three and looking at our position of leader. One of the worst things we can do to run out of our own ideas, for one thing, which will stop our own improvement, and also certainly add to the burnout of our team, and certainly not help a company or a family or a group of friends. And that is to be afraid to face criticism, to be afraid to be yelled at, and to put real limits on the language used. And these are three really hard things. And so I want to introduce you to the idea of using arenas to get the truth out of people and give them some, if you like, artistic license or free license to really tell you about how they feel about the way things are going. Use the language or expression so that you can really understand how strongly they feel, how intense they feel, and how important it is to them. But do so in a way that is controlled. There is a right place to do it, and people don't feel afraid of losing their friendship, losing their relationship with you, or that they will face some kind of punishment. In formal settings, this is a real big problem, because when you feel like, I'm really, really uncomfortable or something, if you have to go and face your manager, your supervisor, you think, well, I can't tell them exactly, or I don't have the flowery or formal language really to express myself. So one or two things, you either end up burning out by it, and it starts chewing you up and you just think, oh, they're never going to listen to me, I'll never get to say anything, or you suppress it, which doesn't help anybody. But on the other side, people are also in fear of, if I say exactly what I mean, if I come over too strong, then will I be punished for it? So the best thing to do then is to set up a certain time. And if you look through many different people who've become top leaders and great CEOs, people like that, you will find that many of them have set up arenas. Now, what is an arena? An arena is this. You set a certain time and a certain place where people are allowed to attack, well, not allowed to attack, but allowed to express themselves in any form of strong language to say exactly what is bothering them and say it without it being filtered out or seconds, or just throw it at you as hard and as intense as they need to. And you certainly give them license to use bad language. Now, you can imagine how odd this is going to feel if, say, for example, the top the CEO or the actual founder of a company turns up and says, hey, today for an hour, you can say anything you like to me about this business, what you think I should be improving. If you think I'm a stupid person, an ignorant person, or whatever, throw it at me as it is. And first of all, you probably will need to, if you're a manager or someone like that, you need to establish a certain time. Secondly, you need to set out a certain protocol, and that certain protocol is going to have to be that it cannot be targeted at anybody else in this room. And the reason is you don't want people to squabble amongst each other. You want to say that if there's a problem and I'm the person in charge, the buck stops here, then you fire everything at me. I can take it because I have the power and the authority to deal with it. And so there's no point hammering at your supervisor or anybody below me if you have other problems. Fire it at me. And if your problem is with me, say my attitude, my understanding of something, or I haven't acknowledged you and your pain, for example, you're burning out or you have family problems, then fire it at me, and fire it at me hard. And make this very clear, because you need to tell them that if I don't really understand how you feel, if I don't know precisely what you want from me and how important it is to you, then I cannot do anything about it. Equally, you need to be mentally prepared and ready and understand that in your position as this leader and this real beacon of hope for them, you are going to have to take a lot of kind of abuse for a short while, but what it is it's useful because it's channeled. And have somebody who is good at typing or someone to record and really record what happens. Also, you need to give them some sense of security. So to do that, what you should do is issue it in writing about what the purpose is, that everything must be fired about you and must be on topic, and put in there in writing that they have license to use their language and they use any language they like. They can swear, they can make examples to express themselves, and also ensure that there will be, and put on there clearly that there will be no reference to this problem other than you helping them find a solution, and no one will be punished for doing this. And state clearly the purpose of doing that. And the clear purpose is, as I've said before, you really need to understand. And the problem is with censorship, with filters, and such like, although it is useful in terms of daily practice, if you are as a real leader and a really somebody who's trying to cultivate your people, there has to be an open season where you really understand what is going on and how people feel. Now, if you think about the past, when people complained about Lehman Brothers and how bad it was going, no one listened. If we look at the revolutions in whole countries, you can see that there was a sense of no one's really listening to us, and then the whole thing collapsed. And it applies to families, friendships, corporations, and whole countries. So it's good that you open up this forum to them, but we're going to do this in a controlled way. Now, when you look through all the information you get, I suggest you use the 3 M's as your filter when you look through this information. And what will this tell you? Well, firstly, you're going to look at misconceptions, other things that are not being understood about you, the company, the vision, or the situation. So start filtering through, is this what's contributing to your people burning out or being stressed or frustrated with something? Secondly, is it maladaptation? Are people reacting wrongly, or are they not really coping so well as you thought they would with a certain situation? Are there certain things that you can do, devices, ideas, methods that could help them cope with this problem. One of the greatest examples of this is when there is a cultural or technological transformation of a company or your home or the way you're going to do things, and you can see that maybe I can do a few things just to give them some comfort or help them channel that frustration energy into something useful. And lastly is mishandling. Is there too much information? Is there information that is uncontrolled or not enough, or is it not appropriate? And by using these three M's as your filters, you can certainly make a success of arenas. Now, I suggest that if you look online, look at protocols for debate, protocols for arenas in companies, you will certainly find where people have done it in the past and certain things that they've come up with so that it can be certainly in a controlled manner. And leaders who have done this in the past have found one thing. Well, one thing that is the most important thing of all is that the people there are validated. Remember, not everyone is highly literate. Not everyone has a dictionary of words to tell you exactly how they feel. And not everybody can really bring that intensity of their problem or their concern by being so polite. And as you know, when someone is so cut and dry, it can come across as very cold. It can come across as disingenuous, and you want people to come to you with their genuine feelings, genuine concerns, and just to make sure that everything is fired at you, so they don't fight amongst themselves, but they address the person with the power to deal with it. So give this a run. And you may find that in the beginning people feel a little bit awkward doing this, so you might want to set up somebody just to initiate the idea of what arenas are for and how to use them. And you may want to appoint a couple of people to help you crowd control, to make sure if they're frustrated they don't target to anyone, they target it straight at you. And most of all, be prepared with looking at one of my past videos and podcasts, see about making that reflection journal. So this combines with my prior videos. And the reason is that once you set up that self-gratification and self-reflection journal, what you will find is you will realize that you're going to get a lot out of this. What are you going to learn? You're going to learn a lot. And people will certainly start to, amongst themselves, talk about how they feel like, yeah, I can really express myself with this person. And it will be very tentative for the beginning. It may take 4 or 5 times before people really feel like, okay, I'm comfortable with this. And you may have your people who are the most outspoken or have real issues will find that they now have a place which is appropriate to let it all go, which is what you want. So remember, if you have people who are talented and they find their voices are not being heard, they will burn out and they will leave. People prior to their burnout will close up and they will never give you their full potential. Others will burn out and then you've lost somebody who is very valuable to you, and the attitude towards the company will be worse and worse because they'll feel that, hey, we're all suppressed and it's a dictatorship, we're not really working together. And if you want to improve, if you want to advance, if you want good ideas, if you want to get quality people and protect them and support them, you certainly need to shield them from burnout. And this is the way to do it. So good luck, and I hope you don't find this new method or experimental method too difficult to deal with. I have done it myself. It does knock you back a bit psychologically. You can come out feeling quite beaten up afterwards, but once you start to dissect what's happened, you find that there's a lot of value there, and there are a lot of gems. And when people find that, hey, you're actually doing stuff that they never thought that you would really acknowledge, or they never thought that you would actually validate them. And validating people is such a powerful tool, because then once you go from validating them, then you start to empower them by the fact that you fired it at me. I understand, I appreciate it, and I'm going to do something about it, and give them direct feedback as soon as possible and let them know that you acknowledge it and you understand what's going on. And if you have to, find a private time to talk to them again and get them to explain more to you. So that's from me today, and I hope you have good luck with this certain method. Remember to check out the 3 M's of Burnout by going to Amazon.com and look for the 3 M's of Burnout. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.